first I wanted to just show this really quickly. I want to add this to the stream. I'm going to do full stream. And I'm going to try to kind of go in a little bit so you guys can see. Can y'all see that really better? This is we're talking about the Gannon Stauch unaliving. And Letecia Stauch will be going to trial here at the end of the month. And we've looked at the affidavit. I've looked at the affidavit. I know y'all probably have too when it first came out. And I just kind of wanted to go over some things. Let's get some refreshers going so that we can, when this trial comes up, we're going to be on point because we've re-looked at this stuff and kind of, again, refreshed our memory. Okay. Here is the area of where they lived, roughly, right? So this is the Larson Ranch community. And what we're going to talk about today is her timeline. And this is the area that she went up to. This is probably like the main town area that they go to where all that retail stores are or whatever. The nature center that they visited was right there. You've got the Petco that she visited. You've got the Play It Again Sports. Let's see. And then if you go up further here, which is a good little ways, right? I-25. And go off of Castle Rock. Of course, there was a play. You know what? I think I've got the wrong Play It Again Sports. Let me see something. There is a Play It Again Sports in Castle Rock. That's why she said that's where they went. Because she needed a reason that she was up here in this area. This is where they found the particle board with traces of Gannon's blood. This is the area, and we're going to talk about her activity around this area in just a minute here. She claims the reason she went up here is because she was over here because Gannon wanted something for Play It Again Sports. However, I find it that odd, unless she's saying they didn't have it at this store, but there is another Play It Again Sports right over here. So, just to give you a visual of where we're traveling, this is it right here. Everybody with me so far? All right. Now, let's go over here to, I'm going to stop sharing this screen. And I want to show one other thing that's going to help us as we're reading through this stuff. I want to present this. Okay. This is the Zillow layout of their home. And when we're talking about the house and areas of the house, I thought it would be a good idea if we kind of understood exactly where everything was kind of laying out, what we're looking for. It seems like your front entrance is, where's it at? Looks like the front entrance of the house is like right over here, maybe. You come out. But the key thing I wanted to talk about was this right here. Like, so there's your front entrance. Let me make sure you guys can see what I'm seeing. Do y'all see my mouse moving when I'm doing my mouse? Because I sure am thinking it's working. Okay, so I'm thinking that's the front door. All right, so then you go down the steps right here. If that's the front door, then as you come out the steps right here, that's probably the garage right there. This is just what I'm thinking. That's probably the garage. And if Gannon's room, I don't think it was this room. I think there's a room like right off of here. That's where his bedroom was. So when you hear people refer to the stairs and the garage showing traces of blood and whatnot, this kind of helps us understand why they were talking about the basement area. This is the basement area. And his bedroom was right off of here. Or his bedroom because I don't think his bedroom was right here. I really do. I think it was off of here. So that helps a little bit visually. I'm very visual. I need to see this stuff. It just helps me go through it better. All right. Then if we go over here to, I put together a little bit of a timeline to help us all. Let me pull this up. Oop, there we go. All right. Now, can y'all see that okay? I don't know how to make it any bigger. It's not very big, is it, for y'all? Let me try something else. Untitled document. This is probably better, right? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Let me take this off. Okay. So you got 3 vehicles that they speak of that are owned by them. You've got the oldest daughter's vehicle, which is a white Volkswagen Jetta. You've got Letecia's, which is a Volkswagen Tiguan. I'm going to mess up saying that word every time. You've got Al's truck, which is a Nissan Frontier. And this is the one that they were spotted in on that surveillance video going in and out of. So then we've got the timeline. So let's go from here. Now, Al worked out of town, and he leaves for work in Oklahoma on Saturday the 25th. Immediately following that time period, hang on, I got to go to different places to pull all this stuff up. So bear with me. It won't let me pull it up. A slide presentation. That sucks. Hang on. All right. Well, let's go through the. Okay, I've got a picture of it. So let me just pull up the picture. I'm sorry it's taking me so long, you guys. I just want it to be where you guys can read it because I know last time I pulled up some stuff and it was really hard for y'all to see. No, that's not going to help me none. All right, has anybody seen? It's online. Let me just pull it up online. All right, here it is. Okay, so let me share this page. Oh gosh, I'm in the sun. I did not want to do that. I'm pulling up this picture and it's not. I'm clicking on the picture and it's not taking me to where the picture is. Okay, I think I found the spot. Sorry. Sorry, guys. That's still hard to see, isn't it? All these ads. All right, I'm going to read this off to you because it's just hard. It's too hard for y'all to see it. Okay, so basically what happened is on January the 25th, which was the Saturday when Al left, the first thing well, I don't know what time he left, but around noon, she starts uh, Google searching. But she's also, I think that they show these as Google searches, but in reading some of these, they're clearly text messages to someone. So I think there's some kind of mix up there. But anyway, one of the first search says find real military singles, and then this one is where I think the texting starts at about 1:40 p.m. She says parenting should be for people, not one. I'm overdoing all the work for my stepkids and their mom doesn't help. Mom advice from stepmom: if you aren't involved in your kid's life, you are shitty. My husband's ex-wife does nothing for her kids. I wonder if my husband's ex-wife is sending me a card since I raise her kids. And that was sent like 3 times. So, like, I'm wondering if she could have been sending those to friends. Then she goes down. This all happens within like an hour. She goes down and says, one day some people will wish they treated you differently. Why should my husband choose me over family? See, those clearly to me are not Google searches. That's just so odd. Find a guy who wants me to take care of his kids and get paid. I just think she's speaking to some friends on text. All right, so that ends about 8 p.m. That's her last text message on the 25th. All right. Um, but then starting on January the 26th at 9:30 a.m., her first thing that they say is it's crappy some parents don't care for their kids or buy them presents. Parents are those who put their kids before their nails. I'm thinking getting their nails done is what she's talking about there. Those were the only 3 that I saw on the 26th, right? Okay, so then let's go back to this statement that we were in. Gonna pull that up here. I'm gonna check the chat, see how y'all are doing over here. Y'all are quiet today. How you doing dinner? I'm glad to have you, Steve. No, we can't take a nap yet. We got to look at this. All right. Let's do the screen share. Let's see. Stop that screen share. We're going to do this screen share. All right. So late Sunday night, they say Gannon was up with stomach issues. And when we go back and look at those those searches that she was doing, approximately about 12 a.m. on Sunday night. So Sunday going into Monday morning, right? She's texting, my son burned the carpet. How do I fix it? Will humidifier help if exposed to smoke? Smoke effects, will humidifier help? Smoke from fire effects with humidifier. And then within the next 15 minutes, her next one is Colorado law for kids staying at home. School is out. Is it okay to leave for my kid to stay home alone? Now, I could play devil's advocate here and I could say, oh my gosh, she was preparing for it. And then I'm thinking, no, she was probably trying to figure out, I got to stay home with this kid tomorrow if he's sick and I got to I'm supposed to be going to work. So I have to call into work now because my husband can't call into work. He's gone. So son is sick, but I have to go to work. Son is sick. Can he stay home? And it says, I don't know. It's just odd. It's just really odd. So I just think probably she's figured out she's not going to work on Monday. So on Monday morning, this is where all the activity happens. She calls into work, and instead of just saying, my son's sick and I've got to stay with him, She says her stepdad was killed after being hit by a car. So when I saw that, I was like, wow, I mean, you couldn't have come up with just, hey, something's, I got a sore throat. She may have used the kid excuse too many times for calling in sick, and maybe that's why she couldn't do it again. Melly says, sometimes I Google things like my thoughts to see if there are blogs out there speaking on the subject. Oh, you think that's what it might be, Melly? Hmm. Oh, really? Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. I'm going to put this up there for everybody to see it. That's interesting, Melly. All right, so going back to this. So obviously Gannon stays home from school, right? Between that 4-hour window between 8:13 and 8:17 a.m., she takes a picture on her cell phone of Gannon sleeping in the bed. And I was like, okay, should we think that's weird or is that normal? Because I take pictures of my pets sleeping. So I don't know. Parents do that, right? You take pictures of your kids all the time. But with the mood that she was in over having to stay home with this kiddo, it could have been that she was taking a photo and sending it to Al to say he's in his bed asleep. She could have been taking it to like you said, Melly, setting things up for the timeline for the police. At 10:16 a.m., the infamous neighborhood surveillance video shows Letecia and Gannon getting into the Nissan Frontier. When they left, she had left her cell phone inside the house, and they say make a big deal about it being locked. When you put your phone down after you don't mess with it, it locks itself. So she left her phone at home between 9:56 a.m. and 2:45 p.m. However, something I thought was interesting, and I don't know if this is factual or not, but according to the Nancy Grace Crime Watch, they're saying she had an Apple Watch on. So if she was trying not to have tracks, digital tracks, she screwed up there. Yeah, Melly says she literally seems like the type that would tell the police to go look at my phone. I was googling something about him being sick as she had set it up. Yeah, it's good. That's probably true. So then, moving over here, back over here to this area where they went. So between 8:13 and 8:17, that was the map that I showed you guys. So that's when they went up to the Petco, and for some reason, she goes into the Petco twice. Um, and the reason we know she went to Petco is because there's surveillance video there, I guess. She does text her oldest daughter from Gannon's phone at 10:37 a.m. and says, or Gannon texts the oldest daughter and says, Tisha left her phone at home. If you need her, text me. So so at 11:22, they're at the Petco on North Nevada. They're making the purchase. Then for like 2 hours, you don't know where they went. And I'm thinking this is when she says, now we know that half the things she says are untrue, but she said this is when they went over to the park, um, the nature center. So then 2 hours later, they come back and she's back at Petco making another purchase. So I don't know. Maybe she realized they forgot something. She had to go back. My mind immediately went to cat litter if she's like trying to cover up a smell, but I don't know. So anyway, then at 1:45 p.m., Gannon's phone searches, can my parents find my cell phone if it's off? That to me is weird. That is just weird. Because it seems like that would be something that she would be texting. But we know at that point, we're pretty certain at that point, Gannon was still with us. So I don't know. 2:19 p.m., the vehicle returns and she gets out, and presumably Gannon, but we all agree it was difficult to tell if that was him in the video, but we think it was because at 2:22 they enter the home. Now here's something interesting that I saw in doing all this research, and we haven't seen anything from it yet, but I think we're going to find it. We're going to see it in the trial. They had an ADT monitor system on the house, monitoring, I think, the motions inside the house, okay? And then they had a ring ring doorbell. And none of that has come up in the media. We haven't seen anything, or at least I haven't. If you guys have, please let me know. I feel like some of this stuff's going to be brought out in court. So we'll be able to see both of them walking into the house maybe. I don't know. If they came in through the garage and the ring doorbell is around the other side of the house, it may not have picked them up. But how far? I don't have a ring doorbell, so if anybody that has one, how far off do they pick up motion? Is it just? I've seen people that pick stuff up just from a car driving by in the street in front of them. Does anybody know? Show Poodles was thinking we're on the same wavelength with the cat litter. So the police believe that when they got back to the house, something happened. And this is when it happened. Now she goes off and tells them, she's got like 4 different stories, but she's got 2 different attackers. One, I'm not even going into that, y'all, because it's confusing. But she basically says, there was somebody waiting inside the home for her and attacked her. Gannon jumped on him. That's how Gannon got hurt, and there was blood everywhere. So, but then, within like an hour later, she tells her daughter that Gannon's sleeping in his bed, and her daughter needs to go play outside, and it's just strange. So we know she was lying, but just to try to pinpoint exactly when he was unalived is really interesting because she's unlocking her phone at 2:45, so that's, like, roughly 20 minutes from when they walk back in the house. Her youngest daughter comes home from school somewhere between 2:45, 3:15. Letecia tells her to go outside and play. 3:15, Tisha claims this is the last time she saw Gannon leaving the residence to go play with his friends. And at 3:30 to 3:45, the surveillance video outside shows her youngest daughter outside riding her bike, but there was nothing in the surveillance video that showed Gannon walking outside to go to his little friend's house. So from 3:41 to 4:20 p.m., her oldest daughter, Letecia, and Al, the husband, all have text messages back and forth. And then at 3:55 p.m., Gannon's father sends him a text message that says, "Hey, buddy," and we know that the message wasn't opened up until about 7:40 p.m., and detectives believe that Gannon was already gone at that point. So they're really narrowing down this window, and when we get into trial, we might find out it's even narrower than what they have here. At 4:42 p.m., Letecia's oldest daughter arrives home. She picks up the youngest daughter and leaves the residence. Yeah, that's a good point, about 20 feet from the porch. I think they do. When they have that motion sensor that picks up pretty far away. I hope they have some of that in court. I love it when they have stuff like that. Um, After that, around 4:52, Letecia sends her oldest daughter a text message telling her to pick up some stuff from the store. And as we know, you're talking trash bags, baking soda, vinegar. We felt like she was trying to clean up and hide things. Um, Her daughter they've never said anything about her daughter, you know, being guilty or anything, but her daughter probably knew her a lot better than anybody. And I'm just wondering if she had said anything to police that helped them figure all this stuff out. Because she was there. She was the one person that was kind of there before and after. And it seems to me like Letecia showed her side a different showed her was more open around her daughter than she would have been around somebody else. I don't know. So that was just my thought process on that. All right, now, so that's that day, right? So going back to the text messages, oh, Teresa, I didn't know you were right there at it. Are you going to go do some on the ground, boots on the ground stuff for us? I'm just kidding. Oh, whether I just Melly says, I know the police say that again and arrive back at home with her. I'm just not convinced. I don't know more than them, but I just can't believe it from the video. Yeah, and I guess that's where a lot of people said what happened while they were gone eh, was, and the fact that they never saw him walk back into the house. Was he, unalive somewhere else and not even in the house? But then they came back with all the blood evidence inside the home. So the police basically came up with, well, this is where it happened. There's too much blood here for it not to have happened here. Unless, well, no, yeah, because she would have had to take, yeah, I'm not even going there. It's too much. I don't think that theory is going to work. Because if he was in the car, it was like if he was in the Nissan Frontier, let's say something happened again, right? So what you're saying, Melly, is that he was unalived and was never brought back to the house. Or are you saying that he was in the Nissan the whole time? Well, at the end of the day, I see. I can't. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, you're gonna be have a lot of press over there. Um, he just seemed really injured when he walked out of the car and the game in his hand and dropped it without picking it up. Hmm. Yeah, like they had said he had stomach issues. Maybe she was abusing him, physically abusing him, and I mean that could be some of it. I was wondering too, did something happen that day? Did Was it a buildup of where just her anger and all of a sudden she just did what she did? Or did he overhear her do something? Did he know more something that she didn't want Al to know? I mean, it's just really interesting trying to play it out in your head, like why? Why did it happen? Yeah, does anyone know if they're letting cameras in? Right now, Teresa, they're saying that they're not gonna allow cameras in the courtroom, at last I checked. But I think there's still time that that would change. Gosh, I hope that changes. Because it's so much better when we can watch some of the pieces rather than hearing back from the reporters. I mean, I'm gonna be on Twitter, I guess, all day waiting for reports otherwise. It just doesn't it's just not the same. Melly says didn't it come out that he was having an affair with the work trip was not a work trip? I need to go back and rewatch some stuff to refresh my There were so many rumors, Melly. There were a ton of rumors. So it's hard for us to know what's fact and what's fiction. And that was kind of why I was playing off of the affidavit because I wasn't really sure. I felt like, well, at least this is what the police have. But I've heard a lot of stuff, but I just don't feel comfortable saying it. All right. So let me pick back up. This went faster than I thought it would. Let's see. We looked at the house. We looked at that. All right, let's go back to my timeline. Um, but what is okay, but let's go back to your theory for a minute, Melly, because this you bring up a good point. So this area where they say they found his body, right, was way, way out of the way. So what made her drive all the way up there on the 28th? And then they think what happened, or on the I'm sorry, on the day. the day of the 27th, the Monday that her and Gannon are riding around in the car, what makes her go up there other than to leave his body up there? And if that's the theory that you have, all of the things that would have happened to him, which were gunshot to the jaw and stabbing in the torso area, would have had to happen either in the Nissan or outside the Nissan in the woods. So it's kind of like, how does that happen? And what? And if that happened that way, then how is there all this blood in the home? Do you see where I'm going with it? I'm just trying to figure it out with you. I'm just kind of thinking out loud. Ooh, I would love it if Teresa got jury duty because then she could come back and tell us all the scoop. If I don't get subpoenaed and they let public in, I'd love to go watch it. Oh, that would be cool if you could go watch it. If you did, you could text us updates. We'd be on text standby. So anyway, we're gonna stick with what the police are saying. And the police are saying that at some point in time, because we could do these theories all day long. They're saying it happened in the house sometime between the 2:22 mark to the 3:15 mark, roughly. And the next day, now remember, Al's still gone, but her stepdaughter and her oldest daughter are still there at the house with her. 5:15 a.m. She's up and she texts her babysitter. And the texts with the babysitter are basically saying something about Gannon being sick or something. And then at 8:17 a.m., she's searching Priceline and looking for a rental car. At 8:45 a.m., she tells her oldest daughter to park her car in the garage. And the police believe that the reason she said that was because she wanted her daughter to keep her car there for the rest of the day so that the blood would not be seen. I did skip something though. I mean, the most important part. They did call, according to that timeline, they did call police. I gotta pull it back up. On the 27th, she Googles the phone number for the sheriff's office at 6:54 p.m. So that's the time that they call the police. That's the last thing that happens on the 27th. Okay, and I did leave some more stuff out. Doggone it. Okay. So at 4:15 a.m., the Google search says, "What is the process for a runaway child?" Right after that, she Googles police steps for our runaway, police steps for our missing child. Then she Googles 4:36. Then she's checking Al's flight because he's coming in from Oklahoma. Um, and then in the afternoon, closer to 1 o'clock, she Googles, "Can Nintendo find my Switch?" And then around 4 o'clock, she's Googling something about her CarNet Volkswagen. And then, of course, at 1:20, at 4 o'clock, a little after 4 o'clock, they asked her for Cannon's toothbrush for DNA purposes. And so she's like freaked out about that. I'm going to show you the affidavit, Steve, with some black and white pictures, but it's nothing gory. It's nothing. And they are, I mean, they are super tight lipped on this case. Hey, Tracy, welcome. Teresa's, who was in the area, she said she would love to be on the jury. I'm one of those people. If they let people in to watch, I'll definitely be texting updates everyone, every day, everywhere. Okay, that would be so cool if you could do that, because then I'd have you like on text. I'd be on live stream, relaying your texts. How about that? Teresa says, I didn't hear about an affair. Maybe they said she thought he was having an affair, but honestly, I don't remember. I can tell you one thing though, just from reading some of this stuff on her, and I do have the 2 letters that she wrote to the judge that we're gonna do in another stream, or I'm gonna do it in a video and put it out. I think I'm gonna do it the video and then put it out either tonight or tomorrow. She's loony and she's got a lot of paranoia. So Melly says, I believe she injured him very badly, which produced all the blood in the room. He didn't pass but woke up in bad condition. She said she was taking him to the hospital, which was him limping to the truck. Okay, good theory. But yes, jury duty is our moral and civic obligation, but what a hard case. It's going to be a long case. They're expecting it to last at least 2 weeks. And Melly says, I believe she took him out to the far end of his. Could be. It could be. Because, when they when they bring up the affidavit, they don't have to give us everything. They could just give us what they need just to arrest him. I was learning all about that when they did this, the Idaho murders, that they just put in there what they need to put in there to get them to say, okay, yeah, you got enough here. Let's go forward with court. So if they could have tons more that we haven't seen. And 2, whatever they show, they know that her attorneys will see what that they've shown way in advance. So if they do have another theory, they don't want to show it too early. I mean, eventually the other oh gosh, I don't want to talk legal stuff because y'all know I'm not an attorney. I did not eat my Wheaties and I did not sleep in a Holiday Inn last night. And I definitely have nothing. I have very little knowledge of the law other than the fact that I know that I follow it. But I just think that they hold back on some of this stuff and they wait to the last possible minute to put it into the evidence. Charlotte, they did find his body, and let me go back to this timeline. Y'all know how I have I see a squirrel, my self-diagnosed ADD kicks in. Okay. Back to where we were. The following day, after they've reported him missing, she's doing all those searches. Then after they ask for the toothbrush, she sends a text rant to the El Paso Sheriff's Office. We'll look at that when I open up the affidavit in just a minute. And also on Wednesday, the day, 2 days later, she has to go to the police station for an interview, right? So before she goes to the police station, she goes by and washes her car. Then she goes when that and in part of I don't know if I saw this online or if I saw this in the affidavit, her car was literally still wet when she got to the sheriff's office. They seized her car and her cell phone there at the sheriff's office, and she had to go rent the Nissan Altima. And then that also the 29th, I don't know if that was the first day that they searched the home, but I do know they were searching the home on the 29th. So that's my little timeline that I got so far, okay? Does that help y'all at all? Didn't they say they thought she had taken him somewhere in Monument, which is a small town north of Colorado Springs? Yeah, I mean, like, that's kinda what Melly was talking about. She thinks that maybe there could be another possible scenario played out with his death, and but what they put in the affidavit is not that scenario. But it sounds plausible? Okay. So, yes, to answer your question, Charlotte, they found the body in another state. Um, February. In February, they found his body in Pensacola. And let me pull that up really quick because this is odd, you guys. Let me do a screen share. All right. Make sure you guys can see what we're looking at here. Okay, so this is the screen share. So I did a map. I just put in directions. Colorado Springs to South Carolina because that's where she was going. She's going over to the Myrtle Beach area, right? That's where they were all from originally before they transferred over to Colorado Springs. But Where the body was found is down here in Pensacola. And I mean, literally right on the Gulf area, near the Gulf area. So, really, the only way for her to do that would have been to take as she was going over here. That was the other thing that I was trying to look up. Does anybody know when she left Colorado Springs and headed to South Carolina? Because they found the body February 14th. Let me look at some of my notes real quick. Was after nearly 2 months, authorities found Gannon's body in a suitcase in the Florida Panhandle under a bridge. A construction worker found him off of Highway 90 near Escambia River Bridge. All right, so in part of the hearings, Sergeant Rosario Hubble testified Thursday that not this Thursday, but this is just a article I was reading. Investigators found a 9mm gun in the home with DNA on it from Letecia and two other people. Authorities said that the bullet in the 11-year-old victim's head was apparently fired from that same gun. They do believe that she dumped his body originally in that northern area of Colorado Springs where I showed you guys earlier on the map, because they did find particle board with his blood on it in that area later. They think that she went back on January 31st, and maybe this is the same time period. I don't know, but they say she went back around January 31st. The affidavit mentions that she they suspect she was looking to see if you could see the body in the daylight because she had dumped it at night. Because they say that she actually went to dump the body the night of the 27th. Ugh. Are y'all with me still? Am I rambling? Yeah, and you know what, Charlotte? Even though she had washed her car, they still found some blood on part of the car, from what I understand. Teresa says, I think he was killed in Monument and they took him out. That's just my opinion. I'm glad I caught a look alive. Yeah. It's your birthday today. Well, happy birthday. Girl, if you go to Denny's, you know you get it for free. I'm just kidding. I am so kidding. So everybody say happy birthday to Teresa. I hope you do something special. For my birthday last year, it was my first birthday back here with my family. And my brother-in-law and my sister said, "What do you want us to do for you?" And I said, "I want some crawdads." And so we had a crawfish boil out here in the backyard, and it was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun. We just laid everything out, and everybody's eating crawdads, and we put sausage and mushroom, and what else did we put in there? Of course, we had potatoes in there. Oh, we put asparagus in there. It was so good. So you got to work really hard though to get meat out of crawdads. The mud bugs. That's right. All right. So where do I want to go next with you guys? You guys want to look at this affidavit? It's going to be long. All right. Let me pull it up. That's not it. We're going to remove that. I think the easiest way for me to do this is to pull it up here like this. And see if I can share screen with y'all. I don't think I can. Window. Wait. Oh, here we go. I figured it out. Help the blonde. She figured it out. All right. So this is the affidavit. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, I'm not going to read this whole thing because I don't want to put y'all to sleep. But I'm not going to go over this part of it. What I wanted to go over in it was towards the back. If y'all want to go over this whole thing one day, we can do that. But it's 32 pages long. Seriously, it's 30. Wait, I got to go the other way. It's 32 pages long. All right, Steve. So here's the pictures that we can get out of here. I'll show you these really quick. So this picture shows, I guess, where the wall next to Gannon's bed, marking suspected blood stains, which we can't really see anything, but so his bed was up against the corner. But there was something that was said about his bed wasn't normally like where she had his bed, it wasn't normally in that spot. And I don't know if that was what the husband had said, like she had moved the bed over or something. Um It says there's a photo of suspected blood stain in the concrete located in the corner of the bedroom. So that's what that is right there, where Gannon's bed was positioned. This stain is also visible in the photo depicting the suspected blood splatter on the walls. The carpet above this stain in the concrete was clean. The carpet above the stain in the concrete was clean. And investigators suspect Letecia cleaned the area based on carpet fibers on scrub brushes that they acquired out of the dishwasher. That's right, they got them out of the dishwasher. And another thing too that doesn't help her case at all was it was a newly constructed building and or home. I mean, basically, they're the only ones that have ever lived in that house. So it's not like she can go back and say, "Well, this happened must have happened before we bought the house." That's out. She'll never be able to use that as an excuse. So that's interesting. Other pictures are Steve. They'd just taken some pictures because although they say she cleaned up, around here, they actually found some bloods within, like, behind the plates on the sockets. I just want to make sure that you guys are seeing the same thing I'm seeing. Looks like you are. Okay. And then I have no idea what this picture up here is, but below that is the pictures of the blood on the bed, which I don't, you could be right, Millie. I don't know. Is it enough blood to say somebody lost their life right here? I guess that's the question, right? All right, I'm going back to one of the last pages. So that's about it, Steve, for the pictures. You okay, Frank? Oh, and did y'all see this part where she filed a fake polygraph test? Did we talk about this at all? This is hilarious, actually. Talk about a dimwit criminal moment. So on February 18th, well, wait, let's start at the beginning. On February 17th, Letecia told a female she believed to be associated with Laura Abernathy. I don't know who this. She's thinking about flying out to Colorado to take a lie detector test to prove her innocence. Because at this point, I guess she was in South Carolina. During that call, she said, "They think I'm still in Colorado." So then, she takes the lie detector test, and they say it's not admissible in court, or no law enforcement would be present. But she just wanted them to know that she wasn't lying. Well, come to find out, she had gone to fakelieDetector.com or fakepolygraph.com to get this lie detector test done. Now, the kicker is that she pays the money, she does it all, and then on the 18th, wait, is it the 18th? okay, yeah, on the 18th, she's waiting for it to come in and it doesn't. So she calls them and she's like, "Hey, like, where's my email with my results of my polygraph test?" And the unknown male on the other line from fakepolygraph.com tells her report was blocked by management based on the content of the questions and stated that any illegal activities they reserve the right to not send the report if they think there's any illegal activity. So she tells the guy, "What do you what do you do now? Just delete it and go on about life and keep the money?" And the guy goes, "Yes, we do indeed." And she says, "Okay, I got you. Thank you. Goodbye." So yeah, I thought that was a little bit cool dimwit moment. Uh that's the conclusion. So I don't want the conclusion, or do I want the conclusion? Yes, I want the conclusion. All right, before I start reading this, are you guys here with me and do you want me to read this? I'm sorry, I'm reading y'all's text messages. I'm reading your chats. I just think about inches where blood is produced and somebody says that you would think someone would have something chopped off, but the person was just cut with it. It is like when you start talking about blood stains, yeah. Um, yeah, she's got that infamous interview where she's interviewed by that guy and she's got her back to the camera and she's like, "I just want him to come home because when he does, he'll let everybody know that they all owe me an apology." Oh, Lord have mercy. So there's only 8 of you guys here right now, as far as I can see. It's a light stream today. Do you want me to read this affidavit? Or do you want to wait until there's more people on here? Because it doesn't bother me either way. All right. I'm going to read the conclusion. I think this is the part that I was really getting into. Let me look. So the person that was obviously there's an officer filling out this form, right? And it says, based on the data collected by the FBI and reported in the Journal of Forensic Science, I learned that over 71% of homicide cases that involve false reporting, the reporting party is responsible for the murder or the unaliving. Oops. So, based on Letecia's internet history, it is reasonable to believe that she was unhappily married to Mr. Stauch and had some degree of resentment towards the family as a step parent. Furthermore, days before Gannon's murder, Letecia appeared to be researching a move to another state to a 2-bedroom apartment. Letecia has not provided a fully truthful statement to investigators at any point during this investigation, particularly regarding the circumstances of Gannon's disappearance. This would reasonably be suspected activity of an individual that committed the crime under investigation, namely unaliving. Within approximately 24 hours of Gannon being reported missing and without external prompt, Letecia made claims to law enforcement that she was being set up. Initially, Letecia said Gannon was playing with a neighbor friend between um, that would be 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock and was expected home by 8. But within a few hours, Letecia changed her story to label herself as a victim of sexual ab- abuse, felony menacing with a weapon, and assault, resulting in Gannon's abduction by her attacker. Her stories continue to evolve to include a new location of Gannon's disappearance over 30 miles away, several completely different sets of circumstances, and and unprompted explanations for why Gannon's blood would be found by investigators in key locations. I mean, this girl just cannot stop talking, you guys. She's worse than me, okay? Like, she goes on, and I think she's so paranoid. She's like, "Well, they didn't believe that story. Let me make up a new one." Okay, here's the new one. Letecia was unable to provide a logical reason why she rented another vehicle while she still had access to the Volkswagen Tiguan. I don't know how to say that. Based on the aforementioned facts, it was likely because it contained the remains of or evidence of Gannon's remains based on positive reactions to luminol in the car on the bumper, indicating the likely presence of blood on the rear tailgate. Oh, I guess it could have gotten there if she was pulling him out of the back. Okay. A suspected blood sample from the interior of the trunk area returned a negative result from the presumptive presence of blood. Gannon's mattress has a large red stain on it that is consistent with blood. Based on the orientation of the mattress in the room, it appears that that is where Gannon's head and upper torso would have been. Below that same area, a substance that was confirmed as blood by the Metro Crime Laboratory soaked through the carpet, the pad, and stained the concrete. This blood matches the DNA profile for Gannon Stauch. In this same area, blood samples taken from the wall, namely an electrical outlet, were also confirmed to be matches with Gannon's DNA profile. Gannon's blood, again matched to his DNA profile, was also found on a piece of particle board in the area off of Highway 105, South Perry Park Road in Douglas County, Colorado, which is the location north that I showed you guys earlier. This particular area is consistent with next page. Letecia's travels on January 28th and January 31st based on GPS tracker locations of her Nissan Altima rental vehicle and raw data from the Tiguan. Now, quick fact, you guys, that I learned from reading this document is that when she rented the car, they went out and stuck the GPS locator on it right after she rented it. Also, they had pulled a bunch of data from her other vehicle. So the whole point, like Nancy Grace and them were talking about her having an Apple Watch. I didn't see that anywhere in here. So I don't know if that was just speculation or what, but during her stories to Mr. Stout, without prompt, Letecia provided explanations for why blood would be found on Gannon's bedroom wall. Other than Letecia being present for Gannon's murder and being present for the cleaning of the murder scene, there is no reasonable explanation for how Letecia would know there was blood on Gannon's wall, as that evidence had not been released to the media. Again, without prompt, Letecia provided an alibi for why she was in the area where the particle board was recovered. She is so dumb. Um, by combing cell tower data, reviewing video surveillance, and home security system logs, investigators believe, based on the evidence, the only three individuals with access to Gannon on the afternoon of the 27th were Letecia, her oldest daughter Harley, and her 8-year-old daughter, or the 8-year-old stepdaughter Lena. With the exception of Lena, who is not considered a suspect, it appears nobody other than Letecia was with Gannon at the Stauch residence between the hours approximately of the 2:15 to, what is that, 5:40, 5:30 area when investigators suspect Letecia unalived Gannon. I wonder what her daughter said. I feel like they could use something her oldest daughter knows against her. Gannon has been missing for approximately 4 weeks, and there has been national news attention on the major networks related to his disappearance. Local efforts, including posters, news coverage, search teams, and social media postings, have also failed to locate Gannon. Extraordinary methods have been deployed to help locate him. Over 200 volunteers have helped to search for Gannon, comprising thousands of man-hours in several different locations. Additionally, although the El Paso Sheriff's Office has received hundreds of tips, nobody has provided information that has led to Gannon's location. His family and friends have not heard from him, and Gannon is only 11 years old with no financial resources. Letecia Stauch was the last person to see Gannon alive. Investigators have not located Gannon's remains at this point in time. Because remember, this was written before they found his body in February. Although the search continues. As additional time increases without locating Gannon, the more likely it is that Gannon is not alive. Based on the facts set forth above, I submit probable cause exists to believe that she basically committed unaliving in the first degree, child under 12. So yeah, that's that's the conclusion summary of it that makes it kind of keeps it kind of simple without going into too much. Y'all are over here talking about crawdads, and I'm talking about blood. Okay, I'm reading. I'm catching up on the chat. I apologize that I'm not talking. And fried frog legs. We had fried frog legs not too long ago too. Here, we so country over here. Y'all are making me want seafood for dinner. Yeah, exactly. She wouldn't shut up, Teresa, and the stories kept getting crazier and crazier. She was her own worst enemy. Hi, Lisa. So yeah, I just feel like I don't know. I don't really want to get into the whole document because once we get into it, it's going to open up a whole can of worms, and I'd like to save that for another stream. So we've been on about an hour. It's a good time to call it. And then maybe this weekend we can do a longer stream and kind of dig a little deeper into the affidavit because I have letters that I'm going to drop here for you guys soon, which are hilarious. Um, this woman is nutso. She really is. She's going to be good TV if they do ever have if they have this trial on TV. Girl, crafts and chat with a vet. Who you talking about? We got to see it. Do you think they're trying to copy him just to get attention? Kraft says she's got another pro se defendant out of Illinois that is just like Darrell Brooks. You're gonna have to send him, tell me who it is, and we'll have to start checking into it. Okay, Lisa. Yeah, we're gonna close it out now, and then I'm gonna find that the letters. I'll go ahead and get those. I'll drop those either tonight or in the morning. You guys can listen to that. It's probably gonna be a less than y'all know less than 30-minute video that I'll make on that, and then tomorrow I'll try to do tomorrow. If I don't do tomorrow, we'll do it on Monday. Um, we'll dive a little deeper into the affidavit. We got to get prepped for this case. I'm sorry you didn't get a notification, Lisa. I know that when it comes to live streams, it's a little quirky on YouTube. It's weird. Yeah, you think a lot of people are going to try and do the Darrell? Okay, so Kraft says it's Bradley Yawn, not Young. He so far is in pretrial. Okay, is it televised? Because I haven't heard that. But I've been so deep trying to research this other stuff, you guys, that I'm not watching what's going on outside of that. That's the one thing about doing this is like, if something happens, I'm not, y'all are going to have to tell me what's going on. Because, oh, I see a picture of him. So they've got it on Court TV or Law and Crime? Because it looks like Law and Crime did some stuff on him in November. Is that, okay. Wait, let me go back to the stream so I can see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay, so is it crafts? Is it an old case that's already gone, or is it something that's coming up new? His new trial is starting. Is that what you said? I think you said that his new trial is starting. Pre-trial. Okay. Yeah, they're in pre-trial. Okay. So whatever they've got now is just a sample. Well, maybe we'll have to sample it. We'll just get a little appetizer and sample the content. All right. Next month in April. Okay. Well, I'm hoping that we're going to be also following either the West case with Orrin and Orson, also known as Sincere and um, hang on, what's the other one's name? If Amanda was here, she would be able to tell me. Um, the Pettis children, also known as the West boys. That case, and then obviously Letecia. There's going to be a lot going on at the end of March, going into April. It's going to be crazy in our little true crime world. So I'm excited. He's a sovereign citizen. Girl, girl. Does he have a mouth like Darrell does? Seriously, I'm when I get off here, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna call my brother-in-law and tell him I'm going to get us some takeout. We're having seafood tonight. We're all having seafood tonight. Y'all got me wanting. Well, y'all have a wonderful evening. Thank you again for sticking with me today. I know it's a tough time. Fridays are tough. I just kind of had a little bug and I was like, oh, I want to talk about this really quick because I've been working on it all day and I felt like I needed to get something out today. Um, but again, got more coming. And if you guys need to email me anything, my email address is it's in my channel in the about section. If you need to get in touch with me. Oh, he does have a mouth like Darrell. Okay, all right. Well, that's gonna be good. I'll go and check. I'll I'll play some of that this weekend. Crafts and chat with a vet. Thank you. Y'all have a good night. Be careful on Friday night. Enjoy your weekend, but I'm sure I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Be good.